IHTN Sports.
Welcome, fans, to Tomahawk Stadium for a special presentation of Braves football on the IHTN. Tonight's game is Indian Hill Braves versus the Madeira Mustangs for a CHL rivalry showdown. Both teams come into the game 1-1 in the league, Bob, and we have some key injuries for the Braves. Jason Littman is out tonight with a knee injury, and Sitchell is out still with that broken hand. So we're missing a center, we're missing a wing back. For Madeira, we have their quarterback, Matthew Schroeder, is out with an injury. And so it should be an interesting game to see how the coaches coach to those injuries tonight.
That's right, Rob. We've got another beautiful night here in Indian Hill. We've got a great matchup, great rivalry between the neighboring schools, and Madeira's had fantastic success this year, especially running the ball on the ground.
Yeah, they have, and this is sure to be a huge game for both teams, as it'll determine how they play right now in the league. Marymount and Wyoming are the only two undefeated teams. The Braves and Madeira both are 1-1, as well as Taylor and Reading. So this game will determine who's going into second place, basically.
Right. In addition to being just a fantastic rivalry, you have some great senior leadership on the Madeira side. We'll see who they line up at quarterback. Do they go with a running quarterback? Do they go with a younger throwing quarterback? Once again, Madeira's success has been on the ground. They've really lit up some opponents. They did meet a tough opponent in Wyoming recently, and Wyoming proved to be a tough test for them. But Indian Hill is definitely amped up for this special Thursday night broadcast. Looks like the Braves are about to take the field, as Madeira Mustangs are also coming out in the field.
Yeah, tonight for the Mustangs, I think you're going to see a lot of running. Right now, the Madeira running back, Colin Bolsheard, is leading the league with 594 yards coming into this game. You also have their defense is leading the league in tackles with Jack Manglis from Madeira.
Jacob Migas.
Jacob Migas, thank you, with 70 tackles so far this year. So those are the two keys for Madeira as the Braves come out amped up for this game. And we're well underway. This game will start in about 2 minutes, Bob. Let's talk about the last game. The Braves did a great job against Deer Park running the ball. They had some success passing the ball, but their defense was just annihilating that offensive line.
Absolutely, Rob. Every time you thought Deer Park had a chance to make some ground on Indian Hill, a turnover or a very big play by the defense stepped up and stopped Deer Park, and they really grounded up on the ground. Charles Stevens, of course, with a monstrous night last week. I know the Braves would like to be able to have success on the ground. They're going to meet a very experienced line offensively and defensively for Madeira, and so they're going to have to really game plan accordingly. We'll break in a few minutes for the national anthem, folks.
You know, the one thing we'll watch for the Braves, did they work on stopping the kickoff returns? That was the big area of weakness last week. So the national anthem presented by the Indian Hill Marching Band.
Well, folks, only a short time till kickoff. We don't know who's won the toss yet, but we'll see if Indian Hill or Madeira lines up for the kickoff. You know, thanks to the fantastic videographers tonight for IHTN, we had a good view in the background past the flags. Progress is happening at Indian Hill. Talking with athletic director Jeff Zidron, there's a lot of progress on the practice fields and the game fields. And if you walk down through the stadium, you're going to notice bulldozers, dirt, a lot of movement happening, a lot of excitement around Indian Hill in both academics, being named the #1 school in the state, and also, of course, in athletics with a lot of development going on, Rob.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, Indian Hill once again is in the top 100 in the nation. I think they were ranked 51st in the nation, so just outside the top 50. But they're ranked #1 in the state again. I can't tell you how many times that's happened in the last 10 years, but it's quite frequently. They're always in the top 3 of the state. And going right along with it, we've got great new coaching staff for the football team, new uniforms. We've got a great television network, and the work that's being done on the baseball and softball stadium and practice facility is amazing. I love coming every week because you just see this busy activity, and in the background we've got a great view of the workers still working late into the night.
Absolutely. We talk about being #1 in the state, and I think #1 for Indian Hill would like to have a big night tonight. Charles Stevens, who's going to line up in the receiving team. Indian Hill looks like they're going to receive the kick, and Madeira will be kicking off to start the 2014 rivalry between the Mustangs and the Braves.
So with their quarterback injured tonight, you know, when you look at their offensive production over the last couple weeks, Madeira has been a fairly balanced offense, obviously relying heavily on that rushing game. But the #1 receiver in the league is actually from Madeira as well. Nicholas Cedello has over 500 yards receiving for the season.
Well, we don't think that the Indian Hill coaching staff has left that go unnoticed. So we'll see exactly what they have game managed for stopping that attack. As we mentioned before, special teams were a particular area that the Indian Hill coaching staff would like to see improvement this week. And we'll see on the opening kickoff how that can start off.
Absolutely. So in the back, receiving the ball for the Braves, you have Charles Stevens, the senior, and a freshman, number 16, Colin Shaw.
Once again, one of the themes with the Braves, a lot of 9th and 10th graders that will be seeing a lot of action. Madeira has a lot of senior leadership. Perhaps a little bit more seniors playing offensive and defensive than the Braves will see.
So here we go with the opening kickoff as we're well underway now. Ball's to Shaw, who catches it on about the 2-yard line. He's up to the 10, the 15. He makes it to the 20 where he's stopped quickly by the Madeira Mustangs. So the Braves are going to start this game on the 20-yard line. Good run back by Shaw, 18 yards on the return. Not bad for the Braves. So coming out to start the offense for the Braves is Danny Vanaski, a freshman. We'll see Charles Stevens in the backfield, as well as Nick Heidel out at receiver. Those are kind of the two threats that Indian Hill rely on for their offensive attack. Is Stevens in the backfield, who is good for about 5 or 6 yards every time he touches the ball. And they're quickly going to a pass, and it's a long pass out to Heidel, who gets it at the 50, to the 40, and he's all alone. 30, 20, 10, 5, and on the first play, Vanaski throws a long bomb for 30 yards to Heidel, who catches the ball in traffic and runs 50 yards for a touchdown as the Braves quickly go up 6-0 against the Madeira Mustangs.
Well, Rob, you just couldn't script it any better than that. Now, Nick just went up. That was a bit of a jump ball. He used his basketball skills and prowess, had great position, came down with it and concentrated, and then outran the entire Madeira defense.
Well, it's great to see a young quarterback throw to a senior receiver for the first score against Madeira. I don't think Madeira was ready for that, Bob.
I don't think anyone was ready for that. And we'll make one correction. Nick Heidel is an 11th grader. He's a junior.
So we'll have him back.
But indeed, that's a freshman quarterback with the first throw of the game. And, you know, on offensive side, again, with Jason Lippman injured and probably not seeing the field tonight, we'll probably see more of Dawson Eichels as well, who really ran the ball well last week, didn't he, Rob? Yeah,
he was great on the short passes and getting yards and picking up some big first downs for the Braves last week on 3rd and long. You know, I think we'll see him out there a lot. Defensively, you're going to see both the Eichel boys out there. And now we can see whether the Braves have worked on this on their kick coverage.
And this is where they want to see somebody step up, make a big play, and really hold them to a very short return. Once again, kicking will be Nick Heidel for the kickoff.
Heidel with the kickoff, going deep. Picked up by number 7 at the 10-yard line. He's out to the 20, 25, and the Braves quickly cover him up and stop him for a 15-yard gain. So Madeira will start this drive at the 25-yard line.
Rob, really nice improvement this week. Very nice coverage, sure tackling, good help to the ball, and I think Indian Hill feels good about the way they started that.
So it looks like Madeira is going to have number 7 in at quarterback, who is the running back. He quickly does a screen pass, and the Braves tackle him for a loss of 5 yards.
Nice sure tackle there by Dawson Eichels. You know, that is the play that we saw Deer Park try to run quite a bit, and the attentive defense oftentimes would jump on that ball. That's a live ball if it's dropped.
So a running back for Madeira is number 10, Greg Kahn. And they get about 7 yards on the gain. So it'll be 3rd and about 6. Third and 5, Bob.
You know, Rob, as you said, Voisard is also an accomplished running back, so we won't be surprised if we see him running out of the Wildcat or out of the shotgun position.
So Madeira's got 4 receivers, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Bashir's passing the ball. It's going deep, and it's a completion, and Madeira's going to go down the field for a touchdown.
And that's their prime receiver, Nick Cedillo, leading the league.
So Nick Cedillo picks up a 65-yard reception for a touchdown, and it's 6-7 game here. And Bob, we're only a minute and a half into this game with the score quickly being, I'm sure, tied up here.
Yeah, you're not going to want to move and lose your spot here. Blink of an eye and we have a score.
So the score is quickly 7-7 in the first quarter as Madeira decides to show that they can pass the ball as effectively as the Braves. So in other action tonight on Thursday night in the CHL, we have Reading versus Wyoming. There's no score reported yet in that game. We'll keep our eyes on that. Tomorrow night you'll have Deer Park taking on Finneytown and Taylor taking on Marymount. So tomorrow night's action in the league, probably that Taylor-Marymount game. I bet you we see a lot of Indian Hill coaches down there scouting that game.
Taylor's been the real big, I shouldn't say surprise, because they have had an up-and-coming program for the last several years, but with the new field, the new enthusiasm, and a lot of players that are sticking with the Taylor program, they've got some real strength, and I know that they're really hopeful for this season. That test with Marymount will be a tough one.
It will be.
Well, Braves would certainly like to start with some good field position. Let's see if they kick away from Stevens once again. Kicking for Madeira is Christopher Landgrebe.
And it's a squib kick that's going to go out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. That'll be a penalty. The Braves will take the ball over at about, I believe that's a 10-yard penalty. They'll take the ball over.
We'll see where they spot it, Rob. And
I believe it automatically gets spotted at the 35-yard line.
35 in high school football.
Need to brush up on my high school rules, Bob. So the Braves are going to line up with Vanaski under center. You've got both Reed Eichholz wide right, Nick Heidel wide left. In the backfield, you got Stevens. It's a quick pass, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. Vanaski was a little short on that pass.
I think one of the things, Rob, they like there is that matchup with Reed against number 7, Colin Vossard. As good of an athlete as he is, Reed probably has about an 8-inch differential.
And probably a 20-pound weight advantage as well. Vanaski's back for a pass. It's another long one to Heidel.
That's going to be interference.
No, they don't call the interference, but it's another incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 10 on the 35-yard line for the Braves. So you got to think, you got to like what the coaches are doing here. They're really trying to open up the passing game, which will, again, give Eichholz and Charles Stevens a great opportunity to have great nights running the ball.
Absolutely. I think they certainly do have a game plan. They have a height advantage at the wideout.
And another incomplete pass. So you got to think that the Braves are going to punt the ball here to keep field position. So with 10:13 to go in the first quarter, the Braves are 3 and out in this drive, with Heidel back to punt the ball. I wouldn't be surprised to see something unique happen here. Heidel quickly does his, that ball's going way back, and it was a fair catch. They're going to take over at about the 23-yard line.
Nicely played, Rob, by Voissard on that to stop that one from going very deep in territory.
So offensively, the Braves came out, ran 3 passing plays that time. I think you're going to see them mix it up the next series. They've done 4 plays so far offensively. All have been passes. I think you're going to see in the backfield we've got Stevens and Dawson Eichholz, and they're running Reed as a receiver. And we'll see how well the Braves do here defensively, and they tie him up at about the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard gain on that drive.
Little miscommunication in the backfield, and sometimes what we've seen is when Indian Hill really presses with their linebackers in the gaps, does seem to rattle some of the opponents.
You know, the Braves have a very aggressive defensive strategy. I mean, they are, and this ball, and that's Nick Heidel with the hard hit on number 39 for Madeira. So right now, their star running back is actually negative yards. He's lost a total of probably about 11 yards carrying the ball so far tonight. So the Braves are doing a great job of stopping the running game, which means Madeira is going to have to rely on that passing game. But their star receiver is it's a long pass again. Nobody there.
You know, Rob, Voissard is really showing he can throw, though.
He can.
Obviously, he connected on that first one to Cedillo, but he's got an arm. I think he had a little miscommunication with his receiver on that play, but he's not afraid to throw it. And as much as we expected them to run the ball left and right, they definitely have opened up their offense as well. So they're back to punt. And it looks like Rob punting for Madeira will be number 78, Ian Marsh, another senior.
Heidel takes the ball. He's to the 40, the 35, and he's broken 2 tackles. He's to the 30, the 25, 20. Can he? 10, and he jumps into the end zone for a touchdown. Well, that was bad tackling on Madeira's part. That was about 6 broken tackles.
Well, let's give some credit there to Nick Heidel. My goodness, he just juked a couple defenders several tackles on his way into the end zone, and really fantastic return. Good blocking by the rest of the Braves unit.
So the Braves go up 13-7 here, and Heidel for the extra point, and it's good.
Heidel's doing it all for the Braves tonight.
I'm wondering if Madeira thought Shaw was back there and kicked it away to Heidel, thinking that was Shaw, thinking they'd be able to stop him. Because one thing that Heidel's really good at is he's squirrely. He knows how to kind of wiggle his way out of difficult situations. As we saw happen at the 30 and then again at the 20, he kind of just got up that sideline and scored the touchdown.
I think everybody in the stands thought he was surely about to go down, but with a good return, mind you, on that line drive punt, I think Nick had other ideas. We're going to see if they can have another effective kickoff and see how they cover that downfield. They certainly do not want number 7 to have a successful run back.
So we'll see how the Braves do here again. Another kickoff. Braves are up 14-7 quickly in this first quarter with about 8.5 minutes left to go. Coach Akiri has to be happy, Bob, with the way the Braves are playing. Other than that one long pass that Madeira had, the Braves defense is playing very smart, very aggressively. The offense has been semi-successful, and we'll see how they do after they kick the ball off here defensively, and it'd be nice to see the Braves get another opportunity to run their offense.
Ooh, a little pooch kick. Fair caught.
Fair caught at the 35-yard line by number 11 for Madeira, Andrew Hicks.
Heads up play by Hicks. You know, Rob, at the same time, I think that the Braves are going to continue to really contest the run game and really dare Madeira to be able to throw it long. That's going to give up some man-to-man coverage, but Indian Hill recognizes the meat and potatoes for Madeira is going to be the running.
So Madeira's got two twins right, a sole receiver left, and it's up the middle, and the Braves stop them at the line of scrimmage.
For the Braves on that play, number 55, Michael Anderson, plugging holes and taking up blockers.
You know, Michael Anderson has, though he hasn't been credited with a lot of tackles, he creates a lot of havoc at that nose guard position, getting over the center very quickly, getting into the backfield, forcing them to tie up, and then when we bring up the linebackers. So that'll be first down for Madeira at about the 47-yard line.
Nice completion by Madeira. Had hands in his face. Thought that might have been deflected, but he got the pass in the right lane. Had pressure up the middle.
So 1st and 10 for Madeira. Twins right, sole receiver on the short side here. It's a pitch out to the right, and I think Madeira is going to get called for a hold there. Well, they didn't.
Well, they missed a hold.
Well, the Braves got lucky on that. I think that was Colin Shaw that reached out to make that saving tackle.
That play really should have come back in the backfield, unfortunately, for the Braves, but credit Madeira with a large gain.
So it's 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line for Madeira as they march up the field here. Shear keeps it himself and breaks a tackle. Heidel with and he's brought down. We can see why he's a great runner. He's kind of like Charles Stevens. He's hard to bring down.
He's not the biggest runner, but he's, again, very slippery. He's got good feet, good balance. Doesn't go down after the first contact.
So 1st and goal for Madeira on about the 3-yard line. Tell the producer that our headphones are not working.
Hey guys, the announcer's headsets aren't working.
Looking for a signal from the refs here. May have stopped him just short of the goal line.
So 2nd and goal for Madeira on about the 1-yard line. As the quarterback's up under center, quickly trying to get in, and I believe he's got the touchdown this time.
Once again, a lot of action here tonight in the first quarter, Rob. There is just not a lot of moment to spare. Madeira drives down the field with a couple big plays behind quarterback Colin Vassard. And he's going to stay in and hold for the kicker.
So we're tied up here with 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first quarter, Bob. It's 14-14. Madeira was able to go down the field and execute their offense. You gotta like the way they're playing. You know, with their starting quarterback out, Colin has done a great job of filling in at quarterback. He's executing running plays. He's executing good passing plays. And he's keeping the Indian Hill defense on their toes.
You know, it may well be that he gives them an added dimension there in the backfield. He did fill in a bit last year, if I am correct, towards the end of the season. So he's no stranger to the quarterback position. Rob, do you think Indian Hill's going to mix it up now with their offensive play calling on this next drive?
You know, I think they will. You know, we've got a special teams touchdown. We've got an offensive touchdown. The defense has you know, done an okay job, but the defense is probably a little tired right now. You know, they haven't had a whole lot of break. Madeira definitely has controlled the clock in this first quarter, even though the score is tied up. You got to remember that the Braves scored on the first play of the game. They scored on a punt, and other than that, they've only run 3 other offensive plays.
That's absolutely right, and we still have 6 minutes left in the quarter.
And the ball's going to Shaw again, who takes it at about the 1-yard line. He brings it out to the 10, the 15, where he's quickly tied up at about the 17-yard line. I'm sorry, Bob, my eyes have been deceiving me. That was number 18 for the Braves. I believe that is Jake Corangle that's been running the ball back that time. No, it's Joel Borger that ran the ball back that time. So Indian Hill's got 2 receivers, 1 wide left, 1 at the wing back on the right side who's in motion. It's a quick pass. You know, I think Eichholz would like to see some pass interference there, and I think clearly the Madeira player was definitely riding piggyback on that.
We haven't seen a whole lot of flags on some of these calls, and that's maybe why we're way up here and we're not on the field, but certainly the fans weren't happy about that.
No. So 6:05, the Braves have the ball at 2nd and 10. Back in motion. Hand off to Stevens, who's up to it gets up to about the 25-yard line. So it'll be about 3rd and 5 on this next play.
When Stevens can get through that first line of defense, he's a tough guy to bring down. If he can make it into the linebacking and the defensive back core, he's not an enjoyable tackle to make.
No, he's
a downhill runner, and he likes the contact.
So Vanaski under center. Eichholz out right. It's a pass to Eichholz, who gets the first down at about the 33-yard line is where this ball will be marked. So we've seen the Braves mix it up. Running, passing.
Well, Rob, the key there, and for a freshman to make that timing pattern is fantastic. Obviously, Reed has a huge height advantage, but he needs to make that route so he has position on a defender who had him fairly well covered. He's just a big target. He holds on securely, and Vanatsky really makes a nice timing throw.
So you're going to see Eichholz wide left this time, Heidel wide right. Vanaski back for the pass to Heidel this time, who makes the catch and is going to be spotted good for another first down for the Braves.
Really nice touch on that pass by the quarterback, Vanatsky. Pretty remarkable for a 9th grader to have that kind of poise with a lot of pressure coming up the middle from Madeira's defensive line. Another first down for Indian Hill.
Vanaski under center, one receiver wide left. It's a handoff to Stevens, who swings it left to the 50, 45, who's brought down. Not until after he gets another first down. That's about a 13-yard pickup for Charles Stevens, and the Braves will continue to move this ball up the field at the 41-yard line.
Rob, that's a big gainer again for Charles. He really had a good feel with his blocking. If it weren't for Jacob Migas making a one-armed tackle there at the very last minute, Charles had a lot of running room.
Another passing play. Vanaski puts this one up deep, and it's a reception to Heidel for about a 25-yard gain. The Braves will take over here at about the 13-yard line.
Rob, that's just a fantastic throw. Fantastic throw. Again, he is fairly well covered, but he puts it over that sideline shoulder and he brings it in very nicely. Nice catch, nice throw. Very hard to defend that.
Yeah. You know, we should note that Vanaski, as a freshman, is actually ranked 6th in the league as a quarterback with a quarterback rating of 116.5. He's thrown for 492 yards coming into this game. It's handoff up the middle for the Braves to Stevens, who gets about 3 yards. Be 2nd and 7.
We have a player down for Madeira, unfortunately. We may have a stoppage of play.
You know, Bobby, we've got to like this offensive set for the Braves. They're running the ball well. They're passing the ball extremely well. We've seen long passes. We've seen short flank passes out to Eichholz. I don't think it's going to be long before you see Dawson Eichholz getting some yardage both in the air as well as on the ground.
Well, you bring up a good point. Obviously, the coaching staff from Madeira is going to start to pay a lot of attention to where we've had some success. Injured man down appears to be number 35. That on our roster may be Nicholas Ramos, but we're not sure if that's correct. But anyway, we're glad he's up and off the field. But Indian Hill has really bounced back after that long, successful Madeira drive. This has been a very, very impressive drive. Running, passing the ball, mixing up the plays, as we were just talking about. Very nice drive they put together. Of course, they've got to get in the end zone here. They're on the 10-yard line with 2nd down.
Well, the Braves have eaten up about 3 minutes of the clock, too, on this offensive drive, which is going to be incredibly important as the game goes on for the defense.
Do you think, Rob, that we might see them mix it up and put Reed Eichholz behind center?
I think we'll see that at some point. But I think a lot of teams have figured out when Eichholz goes under center, though he's capable of passing, it's most likely going to be Eichholz looking for the option. And it's past Eichholz, who's going to get to about the 1-yard line.
Nice pass, nice reception. I thought that Reed might have been in, but his knee may have been down just short of the goal line.
So you got to think this ball's either going to Stevens or it's going to Eichholz for the touchdown. And if you notice, I just said Eichholz because that gives me 2 choices.
And so lining up behind center is Reed.
You got Reed,
quick
Stevens,
snap.
And it's a quick snap.
I think he was in.
I don't think he got it. I think he's actually going to be. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's 2nd down from the 1-foot-yard line.
So it's 2nd and goal for the Braves. I just think, you know, they've made it known too much that Eichholz is going to try to do a quarterback sneak or go for an option play when he's under center. Where Vanaski, you know, you got Vanaski's going to, and Vanaski's brought down. The fans want a touchdown, Bob.
Well, they went backwards on that play. I think they're about on the 3-yard line now, unfortunately. Brings up a whole different play set.
So the Madeira defense has done a good job of stopping the Braves here at the goal line. It's 3rd and 3. You got to think with the score tied, the Braves are going to try to punch it in here. It's a quick pass to Eichholz, and there's going to be a flag on the play.
I think that's on the defense.
It is encroachment on the defense, so it'll be a repeat. It'll be on the goal line.
That gives. Is it a repeat of down, Rob?
It is a repeat of downs.
Okay.
So it's, I'm sorry, it's 3rd and 1. That's right. In high school, it's half the distance to the goal line.
Where they've been successful in the past is with Charles Stevens right up the middle in this situation.
And now you got Dawson Eichholz and Charles Stevens in the back. And we have another flag, another encroachment by Madeira. So now it'll be 3rd and goal line.
Rob, we saw the cadence last week playing with Deer Park's timing, and Deer Park was called for encroachment several times as well. Don't know if Van Atsky's doing anything different with his cadence as well, but he's had 2 great opportunities to Eichholz that have been nullified.
So the Braves are doing a great job of eating up even more clock. They've eaten up about 5 minutes of the clock now and counting.
Eichholz under center this time.
And it's another encroachment. Now that time it's a false start on Indian Hill. So Bob, we were saying there weren't a lot of flags before this series of downs, and we've seen 4 flags in a row now. 3 encroachments on the defense and 1 false start on the offense. So it's now 3rd and 5 on the.
But once again, the Braves know they have a significant height advantage when you flank out wide with Reed Eichholz. And we got
and
a
that's
flag.
going to be pass interference on Madeira that time.
That would make it a first down, would it not?
It would make it a first down and goal.
If not, we'll have to get that rule book out, Rob.
That's half the distance to the goal, so it's on the 2.5-yard line. But it is a first down, so either way, it's good for the Braves. And I think you're going to see the Braves run one more play, let the clock expire, and we'll switch sides.
Well, they have not switched it to first down. Maybe we do not have that accurate.
I thought it was an automatic first down on pass interference. And this time, Eichholz is in with the fake handoff to his brother.
Well, that was a powerful run. I think that Reed had a head of steam there with several steps and momentum. Hand it to the Braves for sticking with that, and they really had an idea how they wanted to get in the end zone. Madeira seemed content to just draw the flags.
Yeah, it's so Nick Heidel in the game for the kick. So the Braves are up 21-14 with 20 seconds left here in the first quarter. We've seen a lot of offense today, Bob. A lot of offense by both teams. But the great part about that drive for the Braves is the Braves defense got to rest. And the Braves did a great job of controlling the clock and controlling the line of scrimmage, quite frankly.
Absolutely. We'll see what they do on the kickoff this time. Do they try a squib? Do they try a pooch kick? Or do they try to kick it deep? Again, dangerous returners from Madeira, very proven runners that you don't want to see them with some open field ahead of them.
So the Braves have done a better job tonight on the 2 kickoffs that they've had so far. Let's see if they do well on this 3rd kickoff. They've limited Madeira to about a 15-yard kickoff return and a 20-yard kickoff return both times. And Heidel for the kickoff, as it's another high in the air, fair catch. At about the 27-yard line is where they're going to mark this ball.
And I think, honestly, Rob, the Indian Hill Special Teams department will be actually fairly reasonably happy with that outcome.
So, with about 19 seconds left in the first quarter, the Braves are on defense again. And Madeira's got twins to the right, a sole receiver to the left. Colin rolls it out, and he picks up about 4 yards on the play. So it'll be 2nd and 6 as the quarter is going to wrap up here in about 2 seconds, Bob. We will be done. So after one, the Braves have scored 21 points. Madeira has scored 14 points. Bob, I'm going to say that the over-under on this game is going to be close to about 80 points.
Well, Madeira is no stranger to putting up a lot of points in the recent past. Indian Hill would like to be able to hold that. You know, Indian Hill's offense really opened up last week and really didn't slow down throughout the entire game. We'll see how much stamina both teams have. A lot of players are indeed going both ways in this game.
Yeah, so the Braves defense is going to have to hold Madeira here. I'd like to see Madeira 3 and out, but definitely I don't want to see them in the end zone. The Braves need a good defensive stance here after that last offensive drive that Madeira had. They kind of had their way with the Braves defense that time and ate up a lot of clock. So I'd like to see the Braves put some distance between them and Madeira here in the second quarter so that we go into halftime with a sizable lead.
Judging from the play calling on Madeira's offensive side, looks like Madeira feels confident they can get the ball outside. Containment will be important for the Braves here. We'll see how the Braves ends, linebackers and defensive backs can contain this swift backfield.
And he's going to go all the way back, I think, unless Dawson can catch him, and no, he's going to make it into the end zone.
We may have had a block in the back at around the 40-yard line, Rob.
That's coming back. That's a good call, Bob. This is going to be a block in the back, which I thought there was some holding happening over here originally, and it is against Madeira at about the 39-yard line. So the Mustangs will keep the ball. It'll be 2nd down at the 49-yard line.
I think they're going to move the chains and call that spot at the 50.
Now the chain crew was a little quick to move it. It should not be a repeated down. Well, he scored the first down. That's right.
Some good pressure by Dan Becker, but they were setting up a screen to their halfback.
I'd like to see the Braves go back to that aggressive defense that they used against Deer Park and they used on the first drive of Madeira that really was successful at causing them to go 3 and out. So Madeira's going to have twins to the left and a sole receiver on the short side of the field. It's a fake handoff, and he's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage quickly.
Kyle Niekamp with an excellent tackle. Great form. Wrapped him up, and we're going to be at 3rd down.
3rd and 10 at the 49-yard line for the Mustangs. as the Braves defense is doing a great job here of holding them.
The Braves are going to need to really spot that quarterback. He's as dangerous with his feet as he is with his arm, and he's already shown he can do both in this game, in this early second quarter.
So Madeira is running trips to the left, a sole back. It's a pass, and it's a pick. Will it be a pick six? It's picked by Nick Heidel with a great block. Nick Heidel's going back for his Well, Nick Heidel kind of stopped running on that, I think, looking for some more blocks. That was a great block by
Dawson Eichels, I believe.
He just lit the Madeira player up. I wish Nick had stayed to the outside because he had a clear lane to the end zone, but he brought it back in for some reason.
And credit some pressure from the defense. You had Kyle Niekamp crashing from the left side. I think the quarterback knew he had to get rid of the ball a bit earlier than he wanted, and up comes Nick Heidel, really with his eyes in that safety position, jumped that route.
So, you know, the amazing thing is Nick Heidel is a threat offensively, but tonight he's been a threat defensively.
Sure has. He's been an active presence.
So Vanaski under center. It's a handoff to Stevens, who's quickly tripped up at the line of scrimmage. It'll be second and goal at about the 9-yard line.
Another tackle by Migas on the play.
So this could be that distance that we were talking about earlier, Bob, that we're looking for from the Braves. The defense had a great series there, coming up with the pick, and now the offense needs to capitalize on it.
And a big penalty, let's not forget as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's going to be incomplete.
They did not call that. Well, we're seeing it a bit differently up here tonight. We have third down on the 9-yard line for Indian Hill.
And 10-10 left in this half, folks. We've got Dawson Eichholz out for a pass. Vanaski's throwing it up. And that was a good pass. Eichholz just couldn't keep his hands on it. It was great defense by Madeira. It'll be fourth down, and we're going to see Nick Heidel come out probably for a field goal. So Nick Heidel is going to be kicking about a 25-yard attempt here. And that's going to go through the up. Nope, it's going to go wide to the left, Bob.
Well, that's a shame. They had a real nice opportunity there after the interception.
So Madeira will take the ball over on the 20-yard line.
Rob, if you think of Indian Hill's defense tonight, the real striking fact is that Madeira has been a big play offense. They've had a series of long gainers, and other than that, Indian Hill has had the better success.
So Madeira's got a sole receiver wide left, 2 receivers to the right as the quarterback's out, and this ball is going to be a pick again by Reed Eichholz for the interception.
I think that may have been Colin Shaw, actually. Another freshman.
So Colin Shaw with the interception. I'm sorry, folks. These numbers tonight, for some reason, Bob, are blurring on me.
We're seeing some great contributions from 9th graders tonight in key situations.
You know, that's probably going to move Shaw up in the interception rankings. He had 2 last week.
Judging from the quality youth in this program, this will be an exciting game to watch for the next several years.
So Vanaski under center. You got Charles Stevens in the backfield. Vanaski's got pressure, and he holds onto the ball, and he's dropped for a loss. That's going to be about a 5-yard loss. It'll be 2nd and 15 for the Braves. You know, coming into this game, Madeira actually leads the league, is 2nd in the league in sacks, with Jacob Mingus with 5.5 sacks to his credit, which puts him tied for first with 2 Taylor guys. Taylor's leading the league in sacks this year with 11 sacks. Stevens up the middle. He picks up about
10 yards on that play.
Yeah.
Fantastic run. So it's
going
now
to be about
third manageable.
13-yard gain. It's going to be a 3rd and 3 at about the 49-yard line.
As you mentioned before, Rob, the game management and time of possession has really flip-flopped. Now, Indian Hill's been controlling the ball consistently, and that has been the biggest difference in the second quarter.
Stevens is dropped in the backfield for a loss. It's going to be 4th and 5. So I think we're going to probably see the punt unit come back out. You got to credit Madeira's defense. 2 turnovers by their offense, and they've allowed zero points to be put up on the scoreboard, where this very easily, Bob, could be a 3-touchdown lead for the Braves.
That's right. But, you know, Rob, as the coaching staff sees them bring both linebackers on plays like that, I won't be surprised to see if they allow Vanaski to change the play at the line. They aren't disguising, they're blitzing.
Heidel with a nice high pump, and it's fair caught at the 19. You know, both these schools, Bob, one of the things that's always amazing, you know, it's not like a Moeller or a Sycamore or a Mason or a Lakota school that has 100 guys on the sideline. You see a lot of guys playing both ways. And my argument is, for young athletes, that's a great thing, because their fitness has to be so much better than their counterparts at the bigger schools.
And I know you and I agree on this. The fitness aspects for Indian Hill's program are vastly improved.
It's a pitch out to the right. And they're going to wrap him up after he gains about 10. He gets to the first down marker, and they'll credit him with the first down. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 30 now.
Once again, Madeira is trying to get outside with the ball, having a bit of success there again.
So you got Madeira with running back in motion, a keep by the keeper up the middle. He's brought down, but again, they get a first down on a running play. The Braves have got to stop the run. That's 2 plays in a row where they've gotten 10 yards on a run. You
know, after throwing interceptions, and I think we've seen 2 interceptions tonight, I have to think that Madeira is going to emphasize the run. Indian Hill's defensive coordinators are just going to have to respond here as they dial up the defensive set.
They're putting twins left and right this time. Only guy in the backfield's the quarterback, but he is their best running back. It's a screen. Missed tackle by Indian Hill. And he's going to be knocked out of bounds as they pick up another first down. He's going to be spotted about the 38-yard line.
Well, Rob, they had him in the backfield, just had a missed tackle there. But they had the man in the right place.
No, that's probably one of the other areas with this young Indian Hill Brave squad that needs a little more work. Is last week we saw when Deer Park had the big yards of gain on a couple plays that a lot of times it was just missed tackles, and it was young guys trying to go for arm tackles as opposed to breaking down and tackling to the body.
Nice play there. Dan Becker getting the first hit on the run play up the middle.
So it's 2nd and about 7 for the Mustangs. And Madeira's offensive coordinator has done a great job of mixing this offense up. He's got a sole receiver wide left, twins to the right. A fake handoff, and it's up the middle, but the Braves are ready for it and stop him at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and about 7 for the Mustangs.
Much better recognition on that play. Sam Shamus made sure that the ball carrier did not make any progress.
You know, Bob, I like what Madeira is doing here. They're putting these receivers, you know, they're going twins left and right, one back in the backfield, sometimes just the quarterback. And they were trying to get the offsides. It didn't work. They're mixing the play up. You got to think, and that's an incomplete as the Braves bring pressure on number 7 with Michael Anderson getting in the backfield.
Well, we certainly don't see the punt team coming out. I think this may be a 4th down opportunity with 5 minutes left in the half. And here comes a little change of personnel. They may be punting. Think the Madeira coaching staff wanted to think that over.
Timeout. The Braves actually have a player down on the field, Bob. So the officials have called an injury timeout as the Braves, not sure who that is down there. Well, while we have a moment here in the first half, we'll recognize some of our sponsors. We have the Weiler Group and Grass Core, Wentz Design, Sipsy Klein Realtors, and Everything But the House, as well as Beacon Orthopedics. Is that Colin Shaw?
Rob, I think
it's
my
number
eyes
18.
Telling me 18. Is that Joel Borger?
That is Joel Borger, who's also a freshman for the Braves. And Madeira's trying a field goal, and that's going to be short.
Well, I give them credit for going for that field goal. Very impressive effort. Number 1 for Madeira is Christopher Landgrebe, and you got to admire their confidence in him. But that gives Indian Hill with fairly good field position. That said, I think Madeira was willing to take that risk, given that they were inside the 40-yard line.
Well, unfortunately, in a high school ball, that gives them the ball at the 20-yard line.
Okay.
So 5 minutes left in the half. The Braves are back on offense. Danny Van Aske runs out to his huddle to bring the play out. Looks like Reed Eichel's going to be lining up wide right. And on the near side, it looks like you got Jake Korangle in the game. And Van Aske's looking for the pass. It's a completion for about a 7-yard pickup.
Nice pass, nice reception and move by Korangle. He got a couple yards with that spin. Aggressive move, throwing on 1st down, and it gives them 2nd down and about 2 or 3.
So Jake Korangle's back in the game after missing last week's game with a concussion. And the Braves go to the run game and are quickly tied up for about a 1-yard loss. That was Dawson Eichholz with the ball. So, Bob, they're trying to keep the play calling mixed up here. It's 3rd and about 2. Korangle's wide left.
And look at how they're bringing everyone to the line here.
It's a handoff to Stevens, who's, I don't think, going to get the 1st down.
They're basically bringing about 8 men hard on a blitz.
So it's going to be 4th and about 1, and the Braves will punt the ball away here.
You'd like to think that offensive coordinators, coaching staff can switch that play up when they see them bringing essentially 8 men hard up the middle. We'll see if they change that when we recognize that next time up.
Yep. Heidel's going to go out for his famous rugby-style kick, and the Braves are going to get a great bounce. Can they down this ball? Braves are going to get the ball all the way down to about the 12-yard line before downing it.
You know, that's the kind of play that could change that game if Nick Heidel was not able to handle that snap, keep his composure, and then kick that downfield with the rugby style. Very different look with 3 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, you know, it's Nick Heidel is one of those unsung heroes of this team. You know, we hear about Reed Eichholz, we hear about Charles Stevens a lot, we hear about the young Danny Vanaski, we hear about Heidel making great catches, we hear about him making interceptions, but one of the strongest points of his game is his kicking game. He puts the Braves in position defensively to hold teams to low scores. And Madeira's going to get about 4 yards on that play, so it'll be 2nd and 6, Bob.
I think the Braves would like to force a 3 and out and have the ball back with another minute. We'll see deep in their territory if Madeira elects to throw.
So they've got 3 receivers, 2 to the left and one right, and they're going for a sweep to the left, and he's stopped at about the 20-yard line, so it's going to be about 3rd and 3. You know, the Braves corners are very patient. They sit there and they wait and they wait and they wait, and they seal those corners off very well. And most of the big runs that Madeira have been up the center, Bob. So Madeira with twins right, and Madeira is going to call a timeout with about 1:54 left. So Bob, it's interesting to watch this young Braves team. And like I mentioned, you know, Heidel's one of those guys because he's not necessarily the quarterback. He's not the biggest guy on the field. He's not the strongest guy out on the field, but he plays a very instrumental role in this Braves team, both offensively, defensively, and he is the key to our special teams.
Well, he puts himself in the right place at the right time on the right plays, and so he's a key factor in a lot of important exchanges from Indian Hill. Think of the difference in this last 2 minutes had he not had the effective punt, and Madeira had the ball at the 50-yard line right now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know the official stats, but Heidel's had a punt return for a touchdown. He's had an interception with about 40 or 50 yards of return. He's punted the ball well. He's kicked a couple field goals. He's caught a pass for a touchdown. And the quarterback keeps it, and I think he's going to be short of the first down. He's going to see where they
got it. Don't know that he got it there.
And the Braves call a timeout. The Braves want the ball back, Bob.
Yeah, the clock is stopped with 1:46. We're not sure what Madeira is going to do here. 4th and 1. It looks like they're bringing on personnel for a punt. No, now they're rethinking that. Difficult decision for Madeira, or not a difficult decision, Rob?
With 1:46, you're down by a touchdown. I think you play it safe because with 1:46, the Braves have shown that they can move the ball offensively, and you would turn the ball over to them on the 21-yard line. That's a quick touchdown for the Braves.
Well, on the other side of things, Braves need to be mature. They need to be disciplined and not jump the count. They need to watch the ball and not be called for a penalty on this snap.
And the Braves have done that very effectively this year. I don't think that our defenses have been called, but maybe once all year, for offsides.
Watch the ball.
And this is going to be a punt. And it's going to go out at about the 49-yard line.
So, Rob, we've got 1:38 seconds, enough time for the Indian Hill coaching staff and quarterback Danny Vanaski to try to dial up a little 2-minute drill. We're going to see Indian Hill try to use the clock wisely, and the play calling will be very interesting to see.
The Braves have done very well moving the ball both on the ground and in the air.
Well,
you know, one of the things that's been great about watching this young team is the maturity level each week keeps improving. They have not plateaued yet. They have not peaked. They're still getting better every week, which tells me the coaching staff has done a great job of keeping these kids motivated.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that obviously last week with a lot of enthusiasm with homecoming, this week certainly every team is going to face some guys that are not 100%. We talked about some of the injuries on Indian Hill's side, and with the religious holidays, several of Indian Hill's players busy with religious holiday this week. They're motivated, they're focused, and we saw all the spirit with the homecoming pep rallies. And I think Indian Hill has really got a lot of enthusiasm coming into this game. I know they would have liked to have made some more progress on that red zone opportunity the last drive, but this will be key. This will be key to see the maturity of the offensive unit with 1 minute 38 seconds left.
And you gotta like how much time the Braves offense has been out on the field, because our defense will be stronger in the second half because of it.
No doubt.
So 1st and 10 at about the 48-yard line. Banaski back for the pass, and he's trying to get out of the pocket and is quickly covered up by the Mustangs for about a 4-yard loss.
Rob, could it be that the Braves are going to be content to just work this out conservatively?
They're going to their hurry-up offense. No huddle. Banaski's calling the play from the line. And it's a quick pass and a reception. And it's stripped away by Madeira. Madeira takes over. So that's the first turnover on the Braves. So there's a minute 05 left here. That's probably the first miscue that the Braves have had on offense, and that was a great pass by Vanaski. It was a quick pass, it was caught, and then the receiver just didn't keep the ball covered up. And the Braves are going to stop him. He's going to be spotted at about the 45-yard line, so it's going to be second and 3. I'm sorry, they gave him 7 yards on that play. And it's a pick. And the Braves have taken this ball back over. That's number 17 for the Braves, Bob.
Number 17 would be Ben Corangle.
So the Corangle boys have 2 interceptions tonight.
Rob, that ball was tipped, and very good coverage there. I did not see who had a hand on it that gave Ben Corangle the heads-up opportunity to make that interception.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Braves do here with 34 seconds to go. Banaski up under center, takes the snap. It's a fake up the middle by Stevens, who gets about 2 yards on the carry as the clock is stopped, and the Braves call a timeout. So the Braves have one more timeout after this one, Bob, and I like the fact that they're not just settling and that they're trying to execute something to put themselves in a scoring position.
No doubt. And again, I don't think they're very pleased that in that red zone opportunity after the big return by Heidel that they did not put points on the board. So the Braves are regrouping, putting together their offensive plan. Only 29 seconds until half. At halftime, will be treated to band night. Indian Hills Braves marching band will be joined by some of the younger Indian Hill members from the middle school, and they'll provide a host of varied musical opportunities.
So what do you think the Braves have drawn up here? Are they going for the pass? You got Heidel out wide right. You got Dawson Eichholz right as well. You got Stevens in the backfield for extra blocking protection. Vanaski's going to scramble. He's thrown the ball away, and it's caught. It's going to be just shy of the first down. The Braves have called a timeout again.
Well, I think that Dawson really would have liked to have gotten out of bounds. He slipped a little bit on the turf.
They've credited the Braves with the first down.
Okay.
And Vanaski quickly throws the ball into the ground to stop the clock.
I didn't think they were going to give Dawson the first down on that, but give him the credit. He had the ball over the marker.
So 2nd and 10 at about the 39-yard line for the Braves with about 15 seconds left in this first half. You know, they've done a great job of running some different kind of plays. This is, you know, you want to give Vanaski an opportunity to throw a pass for a touchdown, but you don't want to put him in a position to have a turnover either. Vanaski's back. Ball's up quickly, and that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage and falls short. About 11-5 left. The Braves are going to line up quickly.
I think Indian Hill's going to have about 2 more opportunities before the clock runs out. Again, Heidel is a fairly strong kicker. They could get that ball down in field goal range as well.
So it's 3rd and 10 for the Braves. Vanaski's calling the play in the huddle. We're going to have Heidel on the near side of the field here for the Braves. It's a handoff up the middle to Stevens, and he's brought down quickly. It'll be 4th down. The Braves have called timeout for the last time with about 7 seconds left in the quarter and half.
So the key on this next play, we know that Indian Hill has some height advantage at wideout, but Vanaski needs enough time to be able to drop back and get the ball deep enough so to be in the end zone.
They've been lining Stevens up back there with him as an extra blocker on these deep patterns that they've been trying to run. So it's going to be interesting to see what receivers they put out there. Like you said, when we have Eichholz lining up in a wide out position, he's definitely got size advantage.
And we've also seen Heidel with 2 jump ball receptions in the first half as well.
And Nick is very capable of so core angles out for the receiving core. You've got Eichholz in there. You've got Dawson Eichholz in there. You've got Colin Shaw. You've got Heidel, Shaw, and Dawson Eichholz to your right as trips, and you got a sole receiver and core angle to the left. And the Braves are called for offsides. You know, with 5 seconds left here, I hope Arcuri lets them try to execute this play. But Vanaski's going to have to show some poise. They're looking for the pass. And what you don't want to do is have an interception that's run back for a touchdown.
Well, if they bring the linebackers, you'll have some space over the middle, but I think he wants to throw this into the end zone. It's Reed Eichholz with the throw.
And that's going to be an incompletion. So the Braves wrap up the second half, 21-14. Great offense. We'll have hopefully have some stats for the folks here at the end of the halftime show by the band. It is band night here at Tomahawk Stadium, where a lot of the middle school band members come and join the high schoolers out on the football field. And so stay tuned for a great show. And we'll be back after the half to bring you the second half of this Thursday night edition of Indian Hill Television Sports Channel.
Until then, we'll have Braves Marching Band led by Don Barker and the fearless Mitch Muscleman Hardy as drum major.
Even though I send a blank resume, don't ever send a blank resume.
Well, I mean, it works for you, it
Okay, wait, how do you sit in the middle? Yeah. Why did you? No, he's out from school. What?
Oh wait, it's back on. Someone's touching it.
Tell Brad, now I can, okay.
All right.
Give us a countdown. Welcome back, folks, to the Indian Hill Braves versus the Madeira Mustangs on this special Thursday night edition of Indian Hill Television Network Sports. The Braves are up 21-14, Bob. I'm Rob Young with Bob Rhodes in the booth. The Braves had a great first half. Danny Vanaski threw for 158 yards of passing, 1 touchdown. Reed Eichholz had a touchdown on a run. The Braves had a total offensive production of about 180 yards for the first half. Madeira had about 120 yards of offensive production. The big leader of tonight is both Nick Heidel with a special teams touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
You're right, Rob, and right out of the gate, Indian Hill came out with a big play, but Madeira countered. They had their series of big plays as well. We've seen turnovers tonight. We've seen big plays on special teams, and Madeira and Indian Hill have shown that they can really break out the big gainer both in the air and on the ground. Both teams have shown.
Yeah, this is, you know, the second quarter, there was not a lot of scoring. There was a lot of offense with no scoring. You know, we've been 21-14 for the better part of the first half.
The big opportunity for Indian Hill after the turnover with inside the 10-yard line was the failure to come up with any points that could play big. Indian Hill's defense in several instances made big stops, but Madeira still has the opportunity behind their dynamic quarterback today, filling in for the injured starter, through the air and on the ground, churning some major positive yards up the middle and outside.
So the Braves are going to be kicking off the ball here, and it'll be interesting to see how well they cover the kickoff return. They did a much better job in the first half than they did last week against Deer Park. So Nick Heidel will be leading the Braves here on the kickoff. And right now I'm working on getting the score to the Wyoming-Reading game, which is also going on this evening. And here we go. The second half starts with Nick Heidel's kickoff. And again, we see him doing the quick squib, and it's a fair catch at the 30-yard line.
Rob, I think Indian Hill's going to be content to concede that ball at the 30-yard line. I think they have a great amount of respect for the running game and the special teams prowess of Madeira's returners, Colin Bossard being one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Braves are going to start the second half on defense. Madeira's 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. And it's a quick handoff up the middle as he's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage and brought down for about a 1-yard gain. That was number 10 on the ball carry for Madeira.
We had both Reed and Dawson Eichholz for the stop for Indian Hill Braves.
So the Braves are definitely looking at stunning on defense. They're bringing up a linebacker. He drops back. They're moving those linebackers left and right. It's a handoff, and the Braves are in the backfield, and that's going to be about a 3-yard loss on the play.
Rob, the Braves really brought some pressure up the middle. The runner tried to get outside, and coming up quick from the safety position was Nick Heidel like a shot.
And on the tackle for the Braves was number 67, Sammy Chavez. So you have Reed Eichholz at left tackle, Sammy Chavez at right tackle. You got Michael Anderson at nose guard, and then you've got your core of linebackers coming in with the quick up the middle. This is a pass play, and they're going to call Indian Hill for pass interference. That was Dawson Eichholz on the coverage. I think they both just kind of tripped up, but they're going to call.
Pass was well overthrown. I think Indian Hill is going to say there was absolutely no chance of the receiver getting to that ball. That's another call that Indian Hill is not going to find popular. So another gift for Madeira's offense. Makes it first down.
And the Braves are playing great aggressive football here on defense. They're stunning with their linebackers. They're covering up the middle. And that player is brought down by the safety for the Braves, which is Nick Heidel. And that's a big first down for the Mustangs.
Rob, we noticed that Madeira's offense rarely huddles.
We've got twins to the left, twins to the right. It's a handoff. He bounces out to the outside and is stopped at the line of scrimmage by a slew of Braves. In on that tackle is number 15, Reed Eichholz. And number 41, Kyle Niekamp.
The Braves have to be sure tacklers in the second half. Both Boissard and Korn at halfback have shown that if they get eluded from the first hit, they can slither downfield. They've made some real opportunities of that after the first contact.
Madeira's going with this twins left and right again. Indian Hill's looking to stunt their linebackers again. For deep coverage, you got Heidel. And Bashir keeps it, and he's dropped for about a 1-yard gain. So it's going to be 3rd and 8 on this play.
Real nice play by Reed Eichholz there. Got off his block, contained, and made the tackle. Very nice containment. Great play by the defense. But Madeira's dangerous in that opportunity. Their quarterback can really run.
So 4 receivers from Madeira, twins left and right. And the Braves are bringing the linebacker rush again. And they're into the backfield, and they're flushing him out, and he gets the pass off, and he's going to pick up the first down. But there is a flag on the play. I think we're going to have a holding on Madeira. That ball's coming back. It'll be a repeat of the down. So it'll be 3rd and 14 for the Mustangs, as the Braves did a great job of getting into that big backfield. But as you mentioned earlier, the Madeira quarterback played quarterback last year. He's playing primarily as a running back this year, but with their starting quarterback with the broken arm against the Wyoming Cowboys a couple weeks ago, they've had to rely on him to play quarterback, and he does a great job of rolling out to the flanks.
Absolutely, he sure did, and that's dangerous for Indian Hill with that mobility.
So we got trips to the left, 2 receivers to the right, quarterback in the backfield by himself. The Braves are trying to get in, and they're in, and Chavez drops him as a fumble recovery by Reed Eichholz. It's another fumble, and the Braves cover this ball up. It'll be the Braves ball at about the 37-yard line.
Rob, all sorts of problems for Madeira there. They did not bring the blitz, but Sam Chavez got in and stripped the ball from the quarterback.
So again, the Braves defense cause a turnover, recover the ball. The only thing that I would say on that play is Eichholz has to do a better job of covering that ball up and keeping it, because he ended up fumbling. It could have very easily still been Madeira's ball. So 1st and 10, the Braves are on the 38-yard line. Vanaski is the quarterback in the shotgun position. We've got twins to the right of sole receiver and Heidel to the left. It's going to be a quick pass to Heidel, who's going to climb the fence for the reception. And is he going to be able to break loose? He does. He gets in the end zone, and they're going to spot him out of bounds at the goal line.
I'll tell you what, we've seen some interesting calls, and we're not on the field, but that sure looked like he broke the plane from where we stand.
Yeah, they're going to call him out of bounds at about the half-yard line. So Danny Vanaski adds to his passing total there. Heidel gets another reception for the night and adds to his totals. And the Braves are in scoring position. It's 1st and goal.
Again, Rob, they recognize that they have a height advantage, and they use their positioning, their body, in a beautiful pass where really you can position and catch that with your height. Now, in this position before, we saw Reed Eichholz twice catch in the end zone, nullified by penalty.
And Eichholz keeps the ball up the middle for a touchdown, I believe.
Didn't take any chances there. They're in the end zone for the first score of the second half.
So Eichholz adds to his scoring total tonight with a quarterback keeper up the middle, and the Braves go up 27-14 with 8:10 left here in the third quarter.
Have to remind ourselves that the key plays in that drive on the offense, including a freshman, a sophomore, and a junior.
Absolutely. And that's an extra point good. Heidel adds to his scoring total for the night, and the Braves are up 28-14 with 8:10 left. So, Bob, the Braves are doing a great job of covering up Madeira on the defensive side of the game. They're doing a great job of moving the ball offensively, mixing it up with running game, passing game, getting some big plays, obviously. The big story of that play, of that drive, was obviously the defense with Chavez with the sack and the fumble, the caused fumble, and Eichholz picking it up to give the Braves the ball in basically scoring position.
And you know, Rob, Madeira thought they had the momentum there. They had a big gain nullified again by a penalty that brought the ball back, and then the Indian Hill defense came up with the big turnover.
The Braves defense is playing very disciplined. They've had basically 2 flags tonight. One was a pass interference call against Heidel. The other one was an offsides call. But other than that, the Braves defense is playing very poised for as young as they are. So will Heidel do another high squib kick, or will he try to kick this one deep? It's to the other side, and the ball's caught at the 30, and fair count.
Again, Indian Hill has chosen strategically to accept the ball at the 30-yard line. No return, fair caught, and Indian Hill's defense sets up. And like you're saying, Rob, they're content to do so with Indian Hill's defense really stiffening up here. There's been a couple big plays, but here so far in the third quarter, you saw the defense with the big turnover. So they're going to let them have that at the 31.
So the Braves are back on defense after a quick offensive series that resulted in a touchdown for the Braves. We have a little over 8 minutes left in this third quarter, and it's a passing play, and it's another pick by Jake Korangle that time. So Jake Korangle has 2 interceptions tonight. The Braves have had a total of 4 interceptions on the evening. Shaw has 1, Heidel has 1. Actually, that's 5 because Ben Korangle has 1 and Jake Korangle has 2. So the Braves have, again, taken over the ball on a defensive turnover, and it's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line.
Absolutely, Rob. And after that first play where they definitely got beat earlier in the half, the defensive backfield have had a wonderful opportunity with vision, seeing where the quarterback is going with the ball.
So it's Heidel lone. It's a handoff to Dawson Eichholz, who swings out to the left side. He's up to the 40-yard line where he's brought down by a couple of Mustangs.
Nice running there by Dawson Eichholz. He's a little slow to get up. He had good blocking out front.
And we're going to have a timeout by the officials. Eichholz is slow to come off the field. The officials are going to make him come off the field to be checked, to be safe, as he brings himself off the field. That was a great run by Dawson Eichholz. to pick up about 9 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 1 at about the 39-yard line. About the 40-yard line. And in for the Braves, it's number 24, Blake Hyde. Junior for the Braves. And the Braves put it right up the middle as they get the first down, and the ball carrier that time was, I believe it was Danny Vanaski, who's lost his helmet.
Rob, great push up front by the Indian Hill line against a big senior Madeira defensive line. They just had the better of them on that play. They pushed them back for at least 3-4 yards.
So they're going to bring Vanaski out, so we'll see Reed Eichholz under center this time. And so, you know, Madeira is going to bring the rush because they know they're going to think that Eichholz is going for the running game, and Stevens up the middle for about a 4-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Braves at about the 32-yard line.
Nice run by Charles. You know, he hasn't been necessarily the feature of their offense tonight, but he's been a very steady presence, and he's had positive yardage, I believe, every time he's touched the ball tonight.
I believe so, too.
Some very key handles with positive yardage.
So the Braves have been opting for a running game as Vanaski comes back in here to take the snap under center. We've got 2 backs in the backfield. Heidel out wide right. It's a handoff to number 24, who gets about 3 yards on the carry. So it'll be 3rd and about 2 to go for the Braves at about the 34-yard line, 33-yard line.
Nice job there by 24. Hyde got some good yardage on that 2nd down play. And back in is Dawson Eichholz.
So it's 3rd and 3 at the 29-yard line. As the Braves put Eichholz up under center. Vanaski's out wide right. And that might have been a turnover by the Braves. And it is. That's a fumble, and Madeira takes over the ball on the turnover. So that's the first offensive turnover the Braves have had tonight. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Mustangs on the 30 as they quickly come to the line of scrimmage. They're running trips to the left, a sole receiver to the right, a wing back. And the quarterback, the wingback's in motion. It's a pitch to the wingback as he turns the corner and is quickly met by number 54.
That'd be Dan Becker. But I'll tell you, the play on that was by Dawson Eichholz. Had his contained responsibility, got off his blocker. Very well defensed by Indian Hill.
So it's going to be 2nd and 9 for the Mustangs on the 31-yard line.
Linebackers for Indian Hill are showing blitz at this point. Kyle Niekamp, Dan Becker.
So it's twins left and right for the Mustangs. Sole back and the quarterback in the back. It's a keeper by the quarterback who's quickly tied up, and he's going to have a loss. This is going to be about 3rd and 11 for the Mustangs. So the Braves have not been fooled at all on that play. You know, it's very quick to point out, Bob, that the Mustangs, every time they go to the double twins, Collins keeping that ball and usually running it.
I think that Indian Hill is watching for that. I don't know if they have a spotter on the quarterback, but that's where he's been effective, is with his feet.
So we're twins left and right again. Voss back for the pass, and his quick screen pass to number 10, who's up to the 30, 35, 40, 50. And I think we're going to have a holding call against. That should be a holding call against number 27. He was for sure holding his jersey there, because that black jersey was popping out about 2 feet from the body.
Well, it was a nice play call by Madeira. Again, we've got a missed call on that play, but we're not going to see that flagged.
So Madeira moves the ball up the field 40 yards to the 31-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 with 3:57 left in this 3rd quarter. to keeper, and he's up the middle, and he gets about a 2-yard gain.
Tackle on the play by Dan Becker.
So they've got trips to the right, sole receiver on the short side of the field here. Number 7 is going to take the snap out of the shotgun. It's a quick pitch out to number 10, which they've had work for them before, but this time he's dropped for about a 4-yard loss. It'll be 3rd and about 10.
Indian Hill, Rob, is doing a much better job containing outside in this half.
They have. You know, you got to think that Coach Akiri is going to be, it'll be probably Coach of the Year in the CHL between him and the Taylor coach, because those two teams have probably had a false start on Madeira.
Well, we've got a lot of games to play, but there's definitely been a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of attention now paid to the Indian Hill football program. And with their early success, this game is key. If they can pick up a CHL win, there'll be a lot more eyes really focusing on Indian Hill.
Well, if they win tonight, it'll make them 2-1 in the league. Worst case scenario, they're tied for 2nd place in the league. Toss back in the shotgun, and he's flushed out of the pocket and quickly eludes the tackler. A good block by number 75. Voss throws the ball away, and it's another pick by the Braves. So the defense does a great job of staying with that play all the way. There was some great blocking by Madeira, but the Braves did not give up, and they ended up with the pick on that play. And again, that's Ben Corangle. So the Corangle brothers both have 2 interceptions in this game.
I'll tell you what, Rob, that was an amazing play all around. You know, the quarterback for Madeira, we thought he was absolutely stopped for a loss, able to get away, and then as he throws it downfield, the presence of mind and the vision of the defensive backfield for Indian Hill was pretty impressive.
Yeah. You know,
Corangle came up big on that play.
And he does definitely have an arm. We'll see if Vanaski can get them quickly out of there's a flag on the play. It's probably going to be a holding call on the Braves. We'll see what the call is.
Block below the waist.
Not sure who the call's on, but the Braves now are up against the end zone here. It's 2nd and about 12.
They're going to replay that as 1st down.
Oh, 1st and 12, thank you. Heidel's going to line up wide to the right. And it's a handoff, and it's a safety for the...
No, he was across the line, but not very far.
So the one thing that I think they'll probably talk to the defense about is, especially when it's 3rd and long and you're standing on the 2-yard line, it's probably better to bat that ball down than to catch the ball. So it's 2nd and 13 for the Braves with their backs in the end zone. Eichholt's taking the snap this time, and he's up the middle for probably about a 2-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11.
But that does give Heidel a little bit of room to punt that ball away with a little bit of space.
I'd love to see Charles Stevens get the ball here for a big run gain. We've seen the Braves do that a lot on 3rd and long.
I just don't think we're going to see him throwing the ball on 3rd on your own 3-yard line.
No, I think it's going to be a handoff. Vanaski's under center. You've got two receivers to the left. You got Stevens in the backfield, and he's out to the 5. He's out to the 10, and he's going to be stopped at about the 11-yard line before he's brought down. So it'll be 4th and about 2.
Charles did a fantastic job with the strength of breaking that one attempted tackle at about the line of scrimmage, broke away for an additional 5 yards.
And it looks like the Braves are going to let the clock wind down. We're going into the 4th quarter. The Braves are up 28-14. Excellent 3rd quarter for the Braves, highlighted by defensive plays and an offense that executed very well when they got the ball on turnovers.
Absolutely, and you know they've still got a very important punt coming up here deep in their territory. But Indian Hill's got to stop the elusive playmaking of their quarterback, Boissard. Even in a broken play where it looks like they've got him pinned down in the backfield for a sack, he's been able to elude the defenders.
He's definitely a strong runner. He's definitely good for yardage after contact. And he's definitely been the highlight of the Madeira game tonight. So the Braves are going to punt this ball away with Heidel in his own end zone.
You know that Madeira is going to be coming. We'll see if they try to draw them over. He gets
Heidel
the
with the
ball
punt,
away.
he gets it away, and it's caught back at the 50-yard line.
Thought he would have a run back on that play, but he took it at the 50. Big series for the defense for Indian Hill Braves here, Rob.
Yeah, the offense has done a great job of putting some space between themselves and Madeira. The defense has come up big a couple times. We'll see if they can do it again. Madeira starts the ball in good field position, but the Braves have done a great job of not allowing them to do a whole lot other than a couple plays.
And they need to prevent the big play.
So we got twins left and right again. It's a handoff up the middle, and number 10 stopped for about a 2-yard gain at the 48-yard line.
For the Braves on that play, Reed Eichholz and Dan Becker, a pair of 10th graders.
So playing the line for the Braves is Anderson, Chavez, Eichholz. Becker's coming up to the line, and it's going to be Shears broke a tackle. He gets a pass out quick. It's going to be a first down Madeira as he's knocked out of bounds at about the 33-yard line.
We have a player down for Indian Hill, maybe Sam Chavez.
So with 11:15 left in this game, the Braves are on defense. It's a first down Madeira at the 32-yard line is where they ended up spotting it. And Sammy Chavez is down. It looks like he's having his ankle attended to. He might have just, when he got in the backfield that time and their quarterback broke the tackle, he might have twisted his ankle. But Chavez gets up. He's limping off the field, but I think we'll see Sammy back out in a few minutes.
Well, that's a big conversion, though, for Madeira on that play. Thought they had the quarterback in the backfield. He makes a good heads-up play, dumps it off to his open receiver. I think Indian Hill's defensive backfield was coming up to stop the run by the quarterback, but he was still able to throw it downfield.
So it's 1st and 10 Madeira Mustangs at the 32-yard line. The Braves are on defense. It's a quarterback keeper up the middle. He gets out to about the 27-yard line for a pickup of about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Mustangs.
Madeira sustaining a drive here with approximately 10 minutes, 45 seconds left in the game. They know they need 2 scores to tie it.
Yeah, and having Chavez not in there changes the dynamics of that offensive line.
They're going to get a hold on that. They should.
I don't see the flag, but the Braves do a good job of covering up in the backfield and hitting them actually for about a 1-yard loss. It'll be 3rd and 6 for Madeira. So the trainers are attending to Sammy Chavez on the sidelines, trying to stretch out his calf, it appears to be. You got the Madeira quarterback in the shotgun position. You got Twins to the left. It's going to be a pass play, and it's quick screen, and he's quickly.
That's a fumble. No, it's an incomplete pass. Well covered by Kyle Niekamp on the play.
Great containment by Eichholz. Great coverage by Niekamp.
You know, Rob, they were fooled by that screen pass one time earlier in the game, and I think they saw that one coming. Nice play by the defense. Great recognition. It brings up 4th down. I think that this is definitely 4th down territory, down by 2 scores.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Madeira go for it. Take their chances. Give the Braves the ball back. Worst case scenario. You got Twins to the left, Sol back. He's going for the pass, and it's a quick pass. And that was great coverage by number 18.
Joel Borger? No, that was Korangle.
Was it Korangle on the coverage?
Fantastic coverage. Great play by the defense. And Indian Hill will take over with 1st down. 9:50 in the game, up by 2 scores. It's 28-14.
The Braves on the 29-yard line to start this drive. So you got to think the Braves are going to try to eat the clock up here a little bit. You've got 2 backs with Stevens and Eichholz in the backfield. Eichholz turns the corner. He gets up to about the 37-yard line for a good pickup of 7 yards. It'll be actually about 8 yards on that carry. It'll be 2nd and 8. Second and 2.
Nice running by Dawson, but the right side of Indian Hill's line did a nice job creating some room for him. And we should note, in for Sam Chavez is now 11th grader Anthony Johnson, playing left tackle.
So the Braves have got Vanaski under center. You've got Stevens in the backfield. You've got Twins to the left. It's a keeper by Stevens, who's got the 1st down. He's up to the 46-yard line before he's brought down by number 39 for the Mustangs. That was Nicholas Sadello.
Another 2-way player, key player for Madeira. But you've got to like the way Charles wraps up the ball when he knows he's going to be making contact. He's a sure-handed runner. Change of downs for Indian Hill. They're chewing up some clock here on this sustained drive, Rob. We're up to about 8 minutes, 45 seconds in the game. Indian Hill is continuing to drive.
And this is what you want to see the Braves do. If they can eat the clock up, keeping the ball on the ground, this is good. And it's Stevens who gets about 2 yards, but it's a fumble. And they're going to, you got to wonder about some of the officiating tonight. That was a pretty slow whistle after his momentum was gone, and it was a hit. So it's a turnover on the play. Stevens with the fumble, and the Braves will be on defense again, and the Mustangs are on the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. It's a pass out to the side, and it's quickly covered up. That's going to be the Braves' ball. Eichholz picks it up. Eichholz breaks the tackle. Eichholz up the field as he breaks several tackles, and he's going to be brought down at the 5-yard line. Bob, this is what we've seen Indian Hill do every game. Teams are opting for that backwards lateral pass, and many times they don't get the pass off because our corners are coming up and covering the receiver, and it's a missed pass, and Eichholz was there to pick the ball up.
Absolutely, Rob. Our corners are playing aggressively, and they saw that time and time again against Deer Park, and that's a key turnover for Madeira. Great play by Indian Hill and Dawson, and I think Dawson was defending the play. Reed picked that ball up. And Indian Hill really needs to get into the end zone.
So we've got Heidel out to the left. You got Stevens and Eichholz in the backfield. It's a handoff to Eichholz, who's taking the ball sweep right, and he's brought down at about the 3-yard line for about a 2-yard pickup. So it'll be 2nd and 3 to the goal. So, Bob, this is probably one of the hottest humid nights we've had in football this fall.
Hard to believe it's October. It's a beautiful night, but yeah, we're seeing the heat probably wearing down both Madeira and Indian Hill. You've got some two-way players who have been in, I would venture to say, just about every single play.
Yeah, so you've got Vanaski lining up wide, Eichholz under center. Eichholz keeps the ball. He's looking to pass, but he keeps it, and he's into the end zone for another touchdown. So Reed Eichholz with 2 touchdowns tonight, both of them as the quarterback and running.
Well, you've got to like his presence there. He pumps, fakes, freezes the defensive backfield and linebackers who are afraid he's going to dump that off to his receivers, and then bulls his way over the defenders for the touchdown. Pretty impressive change of events for Indian Hill.
You know, Eichholz is showing why he's a dangerous player. He's like a bull in a china cabinet on that play. Madeira just did not know what to do, and he broke tackles, he ran guys over, and he just went right in the end zone.
You know, Rob, he may have the strongest throwing arm on the team as well. In those situations, throwing the Hail Mary, they will put him in, and Reed will throw that long. But he has touch on his pass if he does elect to take that, dump it off to his wide receiver. This time he didn't need it. He took the bruiser away. So now we're 35-14, Rob. It's a, I don't want to say comfortable lead, but Indian Hill just has to play smart. We did see a turnover, but they struck back. Defense needs to, at this point in time, really be saluted for stepping up big time and time again in this game.
Yeah, they have. You know, we've got 6 takeaways for the Braves tonight. I think they're sitting at about +4 on the night, which anytime you're positive on the takeaway side of the scorecard, you're going to win games.
Well, they've had some success just pooching this kick to about the 30-yard line. They certainly don't want a special teams run back on this play. Squib, pooch, we'll see.
And it's another high flyer. This time it's going to bounce, and it's going to take a...
They have to cover that because that's a live ball. That's a live ball, Rob.
And the Braves have the ball. That is
unbelievable.
It's number 52 for the Braves who come up with the ball.
John Bosworth. We'll see what the refs are going to call there, but that's a live ball, and if Madeira doesn't cover that up, they do not get possession.
We have a Madeira player down on the field, and it's unfortunately it's Colin.
Well, that's an absolute shame. Voissard has been a key player. We hope that there's nothing serious.
You know, I think he thought that ball was going to come to him. It bounced short of him. He took a step. His shoe, he was actually in that play without a shoe on, Bob.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
No, his shoe came off when he went to get up there to cover the ball, realizing that it was a live ball and was basically a sitting duck in the middle of the field.
Well, we certainly hope that Voissard is okay, but we have to again give credit to Indian Hill's special teams tonight on a very heads-up play. They knew absolutely that was a live ball, and they went to cover that. They made a nice coverage, almost got the ball back.
So tonight has been a story of takeaways for the Braves, and their offenses has capitalized. They've used Eichholz at quarterback. They've used Vanaski at quarterback. We've had a couple receiving touchdowns, a couple running touchdowns. We've had touchdowns on special teams. We've had it's been a good night for the Braves. They've executed very well in this CHL matchup.
Rob, we said coming in, the Braves had to be able to stop the running game. But by the same token, we knew the Indian Hill coaching staff wanted to see massive improvement in the special teams and on the kick return, especially kick coverage, I should say. And I think that at this point in time, would you not say that the coaching staff would be pretty pleased how they've really stepped up to the test with some very dangerous returners that Madeira has.
Yeah, I think they recognize the personnel that they have on their special teams. They've opted, like you said earlier, they're willing to give the ball to the receiving team on the 30-yard line and let their defense do the work. And it's worked for him tonight.
Well, we certainly hope that Voisord's okay. He's had a heck of a game.
Yeah, he is coming off the field under his own power, which we always like to see. He's a heck of a player, both offensively and defensively. I would say he's probably as strong a running back as Charles Stevens is. He's just had to do too much on his own tonight.
Well, Sam Shamus is back in at defensive tackle as Madeira takes the field, and let's see who they have behind center here.
It's number 25. And I think we're going to see them running the Wildcat. It's a handoff to number 10 up the middle, who gets a couple yards before being brought down at about the 29-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 6 for the Mustangs with about 7 minutes left in this game.
We certainly don't suspect that Madeira is ready to cede victory on this, but they're going to need to light up with some passing if they're going to be able to march down the field. I think Indian Hill is going to be very careful to contain the run.
We've got number 26 and number 10 in the backfield. It's another handoff to number 10 up the middle. This time nobody's covering him, and he gets up to about the middle of the field before being stopped. Well, that's just a misplay on the defense, and great blocking by Madeira in the middle. So at QB for Madeira right now is Jacob Belliato, who's a sophomore. And number 10, who's taking on the running back duty still, is Craig Korn, who again is up the middle of the field for another 7-yard pickup.
But the clock is still running. We're down to almost 6 minutes left in the game. We certainly know Indian Hill does not want to give up the big play. Coming off the field is Shamus. Back in for Indian Hill is...
And it's number 10 again with the ball carry. And he gets the first down. It's going to be the Mustangs' ball on about the 37-yard line, Bob.
I think we're seeing some Madeira players really slow to get up. The length of this game has taken a toll on both sides. I think Indian Hill is playing a little conservative right now, not taking any stunting, not bringing any blitzing, allowing them to run down the clock. There's a little bit of a clock management going on. Madeira is slow to get the play in on this, using up a lot of time.
So we're under 5.5. Madeira's with the first down at the 37-yard line. It's a handoff to number 39 this time, who breaks a couple tackles before being brought down. And the Braves come up with, it's actually a fumble, and the Braves come up with the ball.
Have to submit to you, I did not see the fumble on that play. I did see the players trying to strip the ball. I'm not sure what the refs are going to decide here.
They're switching balls. It's going to be Indian Hill ball. So Indian Hill successfully does another defensive stance and strips the ball. It'll be Indian Hill Braves with a first down at the 32-yard line with just shy of the 5-minute mark, Bob.
Rob, what can you say about the turnovers that Indian Hill's defense has created tonight? Fumbles, backwards passes, interceptions. It's been a remarkable turn of events, stopping the Madeira momentum several times tonight.
Now, the Braves knew that to keep their hopes alive at a hunt at the CHL championship, they had to come in here and win tonight, and they've done it very decisively on defense, and the offense has done a great job of controlling the ball and the clock.
I think we'll see a steady dose of Charles Stevens here for a few minutes.
Charles gets about 3 yards before he's brought down at the 30-yard line.
We're inside 5 minutes in the fourth quarter for Indian Hill on a Thursday night. Indian Hill would like nothing more than to leave tonight with a victory and with relative healthy outcome.
And Madeira elects to use their first time out of the half Bob, as the clock stops at 4:51. So you got to think that Bert Shear's got to be really happy with the offensive line. You got to think that John Schneider and Coach Finansky have got to be happy with the running backs and the passing game and the quarterbacks on the offensive side. On the defensive side, you got to think that Coach Eli and Coach Akiri and the other defensive coaches have got to be incredibly happy. But the big story tonight is special teams, turnovers, touchdowns, and just the entire game they've played. They've executed 4 full quarters tonight. I think this is probably the first game that we've seen that they've played.
We've seen a complete game tonight, and I think Bert Sheard is going to be very happy. You know, Madeira is very proud of their senior leadership and very stout line. But Indian Hill has not been at all afraid to run up the gut, and they've had relative success, but they've also protected their quarterback tonight, Rob.
Yeah.
They've really protected Finansky, who's shown poise, and he has not given up the big mistakes during this game.
So you got core angle lone receiver out to the left. You got 2 backs. It's a handoff to Dawson Eichels, who sweeps out to the right side. He's up to the 40, the 50-yard. He's brought down about the 49-yard line for the first down.
Big gainer for Dawson. I think the coaching staff could sense they were going to bring the linebackers right up the middle to stop Charles Stevens with that up the middle run, and Dawson quickly accelerates outside to get a big gain and back into midfield.
Dawson is a little different runner than his twin brother Reed. Reed is a power runner. Dawson is a finesse speed runner, and when he gets loose out on the outside, he's tough to stop.
Well, they're certainly wearing down the defense tonight. They've definitely controlled the ball.
Handoff to
It's Dawson Eichels.
For another 13-yard pickup.
Dawson is able to accelerate and he has power, but he is very good at reading his blocks, showing some patience, and then turns it on.
So Kyle Niecamp's coming in, Charles. So you're going to see some depth. You're going to see Indian Hill's going to opt to use some depth here tonight to give them some playing time and experience. With about 3:50 left in the game, you've got Kyle Niekamp in the backfield now. Danny Finansky up under center. Reed Eichholz is playing a tight end, and Niekamp gets loose for a pickup of a first down, and he's down to about the 19-yard line before he's brought down.
Kyle Niekamp is their special weapon right now. Came in and surprised the defense. You know, he's been a sure player all night long. Some excellent tackling. Nice to see him get that nice run.
So with 3:25 left in this game, the Braves are up 35-14, marching down the field. It's a first down at the 20-yard line. And let's see who else the Braves have in here late in this game.
Braves are bringing in Tucker McMullen on offensive line, number 72.
Handoff to number 24, who's going to be dropped in the backfield.
That was Blake Hyde, who had a couple nice plays earlier in the game.
So that's going to be about a 4-yard loss. It'll be 2nd and 14 for the Braves at the 24-yard line. And I like the fact that the coaching staff is opting to bring in some younger players, less experienced, and give them an opportunity to get some reps underneath them so that when we need them against Wyoming and Taylor coming up,
absolutely,
that they're ready if needed.
So Tucker McMullen, Anthony Johnson are in on the offensive line.
It's a handoff to Niekamp again, who's up the middle for what appears to be about a 7-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and about 7 to go.
In for Indian Hill now is Joe Peters coming in on line. Out comes Dawson and Reed Eichholz. Reed is roundly, enthusiastically congratulated by the sideline.
You know, the one player that I would like to see them pull out right now to just protect him, you know, you start putting in a lot of these second stringers who don't. This is where you run the risk of having your quarterback get hurt.
Almost into the end zone on that play with a fine run was Nick Garrich.
Another 10th grader.
Picking his way through the Madeira defense.
Is Nick a 10th grader or 11th grader, Bob?
I think Nick may be 11th grade, but a fine run all the same. Also in now is Eric Person, 9th grader for Indian Hill. They may want Danny to finish out games here, Rob.
Now, he is a young quarterback. He's only in 9th grade. He's done a great job of picking up this offense as the whole staff has. You know, it's a new offense for the Braves, whether you're a freshman or a senior.
Working the clock, and they're going to take a knee.
And the fans aren't too happy that they're just going to run this clock out. You can kind of hear that they're wanting another score. And so as the clock is running down here, the Braves are going to take this into the locker room with another win, 35-14. And as we've said all night, the coaching staff has to be very happy with the way the Braves have played tonight. And Vanaski's going to carry the ball off the field for the win tonight. And the Braves have done a great job as they line up at the 50-yard line to greet Madeira at the midfield and congratulate both teams on a great game tonight.
Well, Rob, simply a great game played for 4 quarters by Indian Hill. We want to give a great thanks to the entire crew for Indian Hill Television Network, executive producer, the wonderful Mr. Dennis Dubs, the director, Scott Schaefer, graphics by Chris Austin and John Osterhughes.
The camera operators are Jack Johnson, Justin Berger, Easton Phillips, Ben Green, Anthony Sortelli, Bradley Winker.
And our announcers, Rob Young, and I'm Bob Rode. And very special thanks to Mr. Steve Ginn with his always present assistance.
So I'm Rob Young with Bob Rhodes for this special Thursday night edition of Indian Hill Television Network's sports broadcast of the Indian Hill Braves victory over the Madeira Mustangs as the Braves go out of this game 2-1 on the season and are ready to take on their next opponent next week.
We'll see you then. Good night.
Coverage of tonight's game. Exclusive coverage of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network has been a copyrighted presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department.